One of the things that I want to do more of on this channel is to interview other content creators on YouTube. I did that a little bit last year. I interviewed the two people who received our um, Aspiring Content Creator Grant, Simply Clutter Free, and Leona's Creative Endeavors. I also interviewed the lady from Our Gabled Home, and I've done a live stream um, with Ron Durant, and sort of asking those questions, kind of things. It's just a fun thing to do, and you get to know people a little better. And so I reached out to a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine for probably nearly 40 years. We'll talk a little bit about that in the interview. His name is Bud Clarkson. And Bud Clarkson has just recently started a YouTube channel called 70 Unbroken. And personally, now I know I'm a friend of his, but personally, I am enjoying watching his journey. And so I'm hoping that by listening to him, learning a little bit about him and what his goals are, it might be something that resonates with you and you might want to join his journey as well. So I had a choice with the interview. I could do a lot of editing, which I've done in the past, or I could just put it out there straight as it came from Zoom. The only thing I've done here is improve the audio just a little bit, and everything else I just decided to leave as it is, just sort of raw and unedited. And that way you can kind of see exactly just how much fun we did have. So I hope you enjoy this interview with my friend, Bud Clarkson. We're going to record. Okay. But I'm very happy to have you with me. I'm going to put this out there for people who are watching this online. And that is that I've got two things going on my end. I've got my Pocket 3 over here. I'm using it as a camera, and I have my laptop over here. And I'm going to try to keep looking here, even though you're off to my left. But occasionally you may see me do this. And if I do, it's because I'm trying to see Bud. But how long have we known each other? I
Well,
was thinking about this the other day.
I was trying to remember the dates. And by the way, thanks for setting this out. This would be fun. Somewhere back in the '80s,
Yeah.
when ever you first arrived in England, probably. So I was already there, although I was in Germany, but we were part of the same organization. So it's been that long. It's been at least that long.
Did we go over there in 88, maybe 89?
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I have to do the math in my head of how old were my kids then. For those of you who are not aware, Bud and I have been part of the Church of God in Cleveland, Tennessee denomination, and they have an organization called the Ministry to the Military, where they take civilian preachers, pastors, and put them on bases around the world where maybe there is not a Pentecostal presence from the chaplain service. And so we were tasked with basically running a church, sort of a church, sort of a let's plan some activities, let's get together, those kinds of things. And I started off in Scotland, and I went to Scotland for 6 months. And man, did I ever fall in love with Scotland. It explains a lot about why I keep going back. But I was at a submarine base, and the submarine base was closing. And they knew it was closing when they sent me. I was there about 6 months. And then they didn't really know what they were going to do with me after 6 months until we had a couple at Mildenhall who had a medical situation that they wanted to go back to the States to deal with. And so I got moved there. And Bud was sort of my immediate overseer at that time. So we didn't see a lot of each other. We saw each other like at what we called I don't know, camp meeting, whatever it was, the
Yeah.
retreat that we did.
Conference.
And mostly, and our boss was Bob Moore. Is Bob still doing ministry in the military?
He is. Yes.
Okay. What
Far,
is he,
far as I know.
100 now?
I'm sorry.
Is he like 100 now?
Yeah. Well, I almost am. So
um, but my conversation with Bud and um, Bob when I went overseas basically was, if you don't bother me, I won't bother you. So anyway, I was there about 5 years. Now, so how long were you working with, when did you leave ministry in the military?
well, I got connected when I myself was in the military,
Okay.
and that would have been 73 to 75 while I was, in the Army myself. And then when I got out of the Army, I actually stayed there for a few years and I did some things. And then I went back to the States and went to college, got a degree. Then I went back over there around 1980. And then I was there until, I don't know, I think 1991, 92, something like that. So
Okay.
if you include my Army time, I lived in Germany for 15 years, at least maybe 16 or 17.
Now, when you were in the military, then were you attending a Christian Serviceman Center at the time?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I got connected. I was not in that denomination prior to that.
Okay.
And, wouldn't really have considered myself a Christian prior to that. But there was this guy that was my roommate, and he latched onto me as soon as I arrived in Germany. uh, Took me there, and I just fell in love with it.
Well, this was one of the things that I guess maybe I don't know how many people did the Christian Serviceman Centers the way that I try to do them. There was a lot more. What I sort of noticed was people were trying to recreate a Southeast United States Pentecostal church,
Mm.
and that worked. They were having a lot of success. I tried to be more subtle about that. So I had people, I had Methodists and Presbyterians and Assemblies of God and Church of God and Baptists and Catholics and all of this coming when we were at Mildenhall. It was a great experience. It was just a great experience. Um, and even with all of the difficulties that we faced during that time that you're well aware of, I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it at all. In fact, I thought about volunteering to go back at one point, but then it was like, when am I going to see my grandkids? Um, so one of the things that you talk about, by the way, let me just throw this out there. Bud has a YouTube channel. It's a fairly new channel called 70 Unbroken. I'm going to have him talk about that in just a little bit. But one of the things that you talk about on your channel is the fact that you were already doing CrossFit, but then you had a heart attack. So walk me through sort of what all happened, because we were really worried about you there for a while.
Yeah. So at age 68, I decided that I wanted to try CrossFit. And it was something I had wanted to do for a longer period of time, but I never had for whatever reasons. And so at age 68, I walked into that CrossFit gym. I immediately liked it. I connected with the owner and the coach there, and that got me started. So I was starting to get in better shape so that would have been November, the following June. So whatever that is, 6 or 7, I guess 7 or 8 months later, I was in the gym one day, had just finished a workout, and I was sitting around just recovering, and I noticed, and everybody had left except the coach and me, and I noticed that I wasn't recovering, that I was feeling worse, and my chest kind of hurt, and my back hurt, and my elbows hurt. You've heard the famous pain down the arm. I didn't experience that exactly, but actually in my elbows, it hurt, and short of breath, and it seemed to be getting worse. And then I made a really dumb decision. I I decided I'm going to go home. So I went out, told coach, "Hey, I'm leaving. I don't feel too good. I got my car." By the time I got to the street from the parking lot, I realized this is not good. I don't think I'm going to go home. So I made a second kind of bad decision in a way, but there was a Kroger grocery store down the street, and it had like one of these quick clinics in it. So I went there, and I walked in, and I told the lady at the desk, "Hey, I think I'm having a heart attack." And she said, "Well, you came to the wrong place. We can't really help you." But I have a seat in that chair over there. So I sat down, and their nurse practitioner saw me, but they called 911. And Tim, it just turned out that an ambulance crew was actually in that Kroger at the time buying their lunch. Yeah. And so they just walked over, through the aisles and checked me out and threw me in the back of the ambulance and took me to the hospital. A couple of days later, I had open heart surgery, so I had double bypass. And then it took about 5 months after that to recover enough to start. I started going back to the CrossFit gym, but I just, at that point, just going through the motions. I wasn't really working out. I was just kind of moving around a little bit. So that would have been, say, January, February, where the heart attack occurred in June. So that was January, February of 2023. So, but I got stronger from there and continued to recover, and so that's the heart attack story.
Okay. So just to be clear for the people who are watching this video, your heart attack was not related to your CrossFit.
No, I mean, that's something people wonder about. Here's the deal with that. Your genetics, your family history, your diet probably are more important factors. Although if you're sort of primed for a heart attack, a place where it might occur is going to be after you've exerted yourself.
Okay.
It's going to a lot of heart attacks occur in a gym and at a track or something like that. But that's not what caused it.
Right.
It's just the trigger.
Okay. So were you involved in this competition then before the heart attack? We're going to talk about the competition in a minute.
Yeah. So people who are into CrossFit, they'll know all about this. But for those folks who don't, the CrossFit gyms around the world, every year they have a competition. It's open to everybody. So it's called the CrossFit Open. So everybody who wants to, and every gym around the world competes in their age group. It's a fitness competition. So you'll have 3 weekends in a row where you come in and you do a test and it's scored, and then you find out your ranking against everybody else who competed in the world and in particular in your age group. So I had done that, I believe, the year before. I had done that, I think, I had just observed it the year before. But then since then, I've been participating every year in the CrossFit Open. Now, if you do super good, if you're in the top 1%, then you go on to the CrossFit Games, which
Mm.
are televised on ESPN. So that's a big deal. But, 99% of the people are like me. It's just something to do for a friendly competition.
Okay. And so what kinds of things do you have to do to compete?
Well, yeah. So there's going to be some combination, and it's the workouts or the tests are not announced until a Thursday afternoon, and then you have until Monday morning to complete it and put in your score. So
Okay.
you cannot prepare for specific exercises,
Gotcha.
but it's going to be some combination of some kind of weightlifting, probably some kind of endurance thing, like maybe rowing, something that's a little bit more skill oriented, like jumping rope, body weight stuff like pull ups, and might be some random other a shuttle run or some other random little things like that. So it's going to be some combination of activities, and the tests usually take anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes, something like that.
Okay. And I take it it is your coach that verifies all this?
Yeah. So in the open, each gym has the coaches there, or people who take courses are certified as judges, and so it's a judge competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many people in your
My
local
gym,
gym would
it's
be
a very
competing in your
it's
age group?
Oh, in my age group,
Yeah.
in my gym, just me. There are
Okay.
other people there who are my age or older, but apparently they don't feel the need to prove themselves or
Okay.
show off or
They're
compete.
they're, they're sane, in other words, that's what you're telling
Exactly. They have not lost their minds yet. So this year they started a new category. Before it was 65 plus. This year they said, well, 65 to 70, and then there's 70 plus. So I just turned 70 or 71, whatever I had. And this year, 630 people competed worldwide in that category. So not that many
Wow.
people.
That's a lot to me.
Hey, there are some tough old dudes out there. I'll tell you that.
Well,
They're amazing.
I just turned 67 and I have trouble getting up off the couch. So, it's a whole new world for me to watch your channel and see some of the things that you're doing. Um, it's almost like a bygone era in some respects because we used to be a lot more physical than we are now. And you are finding your way back into that, which I really totally applaud. I mean, I am in awe of some of the stuff that I see you doing, not because it's you, but because there's someone older
Yeah,
than
well, there needs to be all what I'm. Anyway, I'll like the shameless plug. I really have gotten more out of it than I anticipated when I started. It was just something at the beginning, it was just something I wanted to try it because it was fun and I had some interest in trying to get a little bit more physically fit. But I've become a real advocate. Um, properly done, everybody needs to do CrossFit uh, because, and everybody our age, because man, that motion is lotion. We can get in better shape than we think we can. And it's true for everybody. It's just a matter of showing up, doing it a lot. So
yeah, yeah, and that's showing up part. That's the part that's got me so far.
yeah, that's the thing right there.
Um, so then what prompted 70 Unbroken?
Yeah. So I mean, the real germ of the idea for the channel was that I have a personal Facebook page. And over the years, like everybody, I was on Facebook. I just posted this, that, or the other. Anything that I thought was amusing, I put it on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
But I noticed that if I put something that was CrossFit related, me jumping on a box, me running a mile, me lifting weight or something like that. And when I say me, I realized from the beginning, it's just because of this white hair. It's some old dude, but it's so unexpected. I got so much reaction for those posts on my Facebook than I did for any other type of post that I would put up. And this went on for a couple of years. And I get twice as much, 3 times as much interaction with that. And so that put the germ of the idea in my mind. People like to see an old random dude doing something unexpected. Maybe it's almost funny. I don't know. You just don't expect to see it, and people like to see it. So that idea was there. And then this year I did, as we mentioned, the CrossFit Open. And because they narrowed that group down to just 630 people, well, I came in number 160. And for some reason, I got in my mind, if I tried a little bit harder, maybe I could get in the top 100, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do a little extra training. I'm going to try to do that. And then I had an additional crazy idea. Hey, people like to watch this kind of stuff. Maybe I'll make a YouTube channel about it and see what happens. So there you have it.
Okay. Now, I think one of the things that I like about your channel, other than the fact that it's you, because we've been friends a long time.
I'm sorry, Tim, repeat that.
I said one of the things that I like about your channel,
yeah.
and it's not just because it's you, but one of the things I like about it is that it's not just CrossFit. It's a motivational tool. And a lot of people in the comments of my channel, on the New Retired Me, a lot of them will come back to, it's easy to see that the preacher never really left. And I kind of feel that way when I'm watching your channel, is that this is not just, hey, I'm over 70 years old and I'm jumping on a box. These are steps that you can take to do this kind of thing as well. And I really like that. I do. I wish, and I've shared this with you before, that, I wish that I could see more of your workout, but that's just because that just makes me feel better about watching it laying on the couch. So what is, and every channel that starts off with no views. They start off with no subscribers. Everybody starts at 0, and it takes a while to sort of pick up steam.
Yeah.
So, and it takes, the gurus of YouTube videos say that it can take 100 videos to really get in the groove. That's a lot of videos. So where do you see this? What's your vision for the channel 100 videos from now?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Tim, I will try to answer that, but I want to kind of anchor back to comments you made just before these comments.
Okay.
So when I started the channel, at some point I realized that the story of the channel is an old guy trying to get in the top 100 of CrossFit. That's the story that I'm telling. But the message of the channel is that your age doesn't define you.
Right.
It's what's in your heart that makes you who you are. And I'm hoping that message will resonate not only with senior people, but with everyone. I think the value in the channel is hopefully, or what I'm trying to create is a little bit of inspiration saying you got something in your mind that you want to do. It might be a little scary. It might be new to you. Other people might not, might wonder why you're doing that. That's okay. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. Um, so as far as 100 videos from now, the channel will have to change because I mean the CrossFit Open will come around in February, March next year, and either I will achieve the goal or I won't. And even if I don't, who knows what my goal will be for after that, you know? So I think the subject matter may have to change a little bit at that point, but the message, I believe, will stay the same.
Okay.
So I don't know. Does that kind of give an answer to the question?
Yeah. Just as a matter of curiosity.
Yeah.
There's never anybody in the gym when you make your videos. Are they leaving that open for you after they've closed, or you doing 3:00 in the morning?
I would love to record the group workouts, because they're great. And I would cut snippets out of it. But so far, I just simply haven't wanted to ask my peers at the gym if they minded being in my YouTube videos. And they probably would say it's okay. But so far, I haven't done that. And then I do train with Coach Melissa that you've seen guest in a couple of videos.
Yeah.
But that's not that much. And so I haven't had that to record. Although Melissa and I most certainly are going to do a training video before too long, Tim. And, we'll show her in action how she trains me one-on-one individually. And okay. I may at some point talk to some of the folks in the group class and ask them if they mind me using them. I think a lot of people would be interested in that. So
yeah.
But I also have a special arrangement with the owner of the gym that allows me to go there and to do some individual training and make my videos. So that's how I get into by myself.
Good. Okay.
Normally there's in a group workout, there's going to be 10 or 12 other people there too.
Okay. So what does the average workout look like for you as you're training for this?
Okay. So 3 days a week, I do a 1 hour group workout. Those group workouts are going to have 2 parts sometimes. Sometimes they just have 1 part. They'll either have a weightlifting part and then a more cardiovascular type things. Like you might go in and do practice pull-ups for 15 minutes. So that's for strength. And then you might have another workout that might be rowing and doing some kind of weightlifting with dumbbells and some push-ups and some sit-ups or something like that. It changes every workout. Everyone is different. So that's the group thing 3 days a week. And 2 days a week, I go in and I work on some specific things that I think will give me an advantage in the CrossFit Open. And actually, I'm going to drop a video this coming Friday that's going to go over those 10 specific goals that I have. But I'll share one just as an example. So, you jump rope in CrossFit, and if you can, now there's some folks in my class who have joint issues, and they have substitutes for rope jumping, so they don't jump rope. But if you can, you jump rope. But in the CrossFit Open, there's always some jumping rope, and it usually includes something called double unders, which is a single unders when you jump the rope and the rope goes under your feet once. And a double under is when you jump over it and it goes on your feet twice. So it takes more hand-eye coordination to be able to do that. And I can kind of do that, but I noticed last year a lot of the old guys and my bracket, they couldn't do that at all.
Mm.
So I'm practicing on my double unders because that'll give me an advantage in next year's CrossFit Open. And
Okay.
I do some extra weightlifting to try to get stronger. I'm not particularly strong compared to those people who, compete. Yeah, so I do that 2 days a week, which is a lot. Before this, I only worked out 4 days a week. So you got to be careful about recovery at our age. You got to
Sure.
make sure you rest and don't burn out. If I feel too tired one day, I just skip it. Then on Saturdays, I walk. My wife and I have a tradition. We always walk a few miles on Saturdays. Then I rest on Sundays.
Okay.
So I hope that's
what,
a little concrete and creates a little bit of a picture.
what does your diet look like while you're training for this?
Yeah. Okay. So protein is the issue, and I just tried to do a higher protein diet. When I first started CrossFit, I probably had 40 or 50 grams of protein a day. And as I'm sure you're well aware, the standard recommendation for anybody trying to build any muscle is 80% to 100% of your body weight in grams of protein. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 80% of that in grams of protein or as much as 150 grams. Anyway, so right now I try to get 110 grams of protein a day. What that means is a lot of chicken breast, or fish, or steak, and then other various other sources of protein. But I keep my carbs and my carbohydrates up too. So my diet might be something like 30% carbohydrates, 30% fat, and 40% protein, something like that.
Okay.
A lot of chicken. That's the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I just got to notice.
I know you do carnivore sometime. I don't know if you're carnivore right now.
Yeah, I'm there about 99% of the time. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because my microphone just died, and I want to make sure that everybody can still hear me. Not good, but
we're fortunate because my hearing aids are showing, but my hearing aid with hearing aids is leaves something to be desired. So,
well, if there's a noticeable difference in the audio on my end, it's because my DJI Mach 2 just bit the dust. I've been out recording videos all day today, so
yeah,
should have charged it. Okay, well, I am, and this is not a big secret to you, but I'm a huge fan of what you're trying to do with your channel. And I am a subscriber, and I do watch every video that you put up. I missed one the other day, and I missed it. And I came around a few days later, because my routine every morning is, after I've got my shower and all that, is to make my first cup of coffee and to sit down and turn YouTube on my television set and catch up on all the channels I'm subscribed to. So,
well, I probably could speak for all those other channels too and say thank you for watching, for commenting, for liking, and sharing. Me just starting out with just a handful of subscribers, it means a lot to me to know that you're supporting, and I know that those likes and shares and comments, all help it get more exposure. So, I appreciate that a lot.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I have been curious about, some things about your channel. I am terribly out of shape. I mean, just terribly out of shape. And I have tried to convince myself to do two things. I have not succeeded yet. But I've tried to convince myself that I need to get back into walking because I felt so much better when I was walking, 2-3 miles in the morning. And the other thing is I downloaded this app called Better Health. I think that's what it's called. That does like a 20-minute chair yoga
Yeah.
workout.
Right.
And I have it on my calendar. I have a Todoist calendar on my phone, and it says do chair yoga every morning. And I just click it off. So one of these days it's going to click, and I'm going to try to be a little healthier. At 67 years old, I need to be healthy. And I still, I don't know how it is for you, but I still feel like I'm about 40 or 45. But mentally, that's sort of where I place myself. Now, I'm not nearly as fit as I was at 40 or 45, obviously, but I don't feel like I'm 67.
Yeah.
Um, and I still have a lot of traveling I want to do, and I have a lot of other stuff that I want to get done, and I'm not going to do it if I don't get healthy. So
Yeah.
I hope that your channel will inspire me and a host of other people to get up off the couch and try to do something. So
That's a big goal, Tim. I hope it works. I hope it works.
yeah, well, it's all up here.
Yeah. Well,
I never had much
it's
up
tough.
here, so
It's tough. And those habits, a lot of it's habit.
yeah,
It's that initial getting that habit going is a challenging. Um, Something that helped me. Now I know you're kind of a solitary person. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. I believe you made uh, a video about that.
yeah,
But uh, maybe some of your viewers might be the same way. But one thing that's really helped me, the CrossFit style workouts are group things, and so if you start going and you work out with the same group of people week after week, somehow that helps me to be more motivated and consistent to go. So sometimes people can find a workout buddy,
yeah.
or a group thing that they like, and that will help. But everybody's got to figure out what works for them.
I signed up for the Blue Care Advantage plan,
Yeah.
and that gives me free membership at the Y, free membership, I think, at Planet Fitness, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and so, I thought this is perfect. I did all the paperwork to join the Y. It's not very far from me, over off of Hamilton Place. And I went over there at 5 o'clock in the morning, because if I don't get it done first thing in the morning, it's not going to get done.
Oh yeah.
Thinking that I would be the only person there at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There was not an empty spot. There was a treadmill free, no stair climber free, no weight machine free. And I was like, I'm going home. But one day, I used to work out. In fact, I had a trainer for a while, for about a year. And, I got down to like 100 and, I don't know, maybe 185, 190 pounds. I'm 233 now.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just need to be healthier. My kids need me to be healthier. My grandkids need it. I need it. So yeah, I got to get on the stick, and you are an inspiration to me to try to get that done. So,
Well, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel good, Tim. The number one thing, like I say, in the 9 o'clock group at my gym, that's where we have younger people there, but the seniors tend to congregate, I think, because 9 o'clock is not too early. It's not too late in the day. But anyway, the number one thing that people say is, I'm here going through this, working hard because grandchildren. I want to be able to play with my grandchildren and keep up with them. So that's a huge motivation for a lot of us.
yeah, yeah. Well, here my grandkids are old enough now; they don't want to spend any time with me anyway.
Mine are getting there. Mine are getting there.
But it has been such a pleasure to talk to you. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm going to encourage the people on my channel to go over and I'll put a link in the description below of 70 Unbroken. Go give it a watch, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and help my friend out because he's doing a great thing over there, and I just really really admire it. So,
Well, thank you so much, Tim. And I'm not going to get into all the details, but you've been so supportive of me and helping me get started, and it's been, invaluable. I really appreciate that.
well, it's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn off the recording. Don't go anywhere just yet, but I'm going to turn off the recording and say goodbye to everybody watching, and we will catch you all next time.
Okay. Bye, everybody.